Hello, everyone, and welcome into the Apples and Ginos Fantasy Hockey Podcast. This is week 21 of Trade Talks. My name is Brian, and I'm joined by Ryan, but sadly no Evan. Today, we'll lay down the law in fantasy hockey court, break down some tough start bench decisions this week, and dive into the end of the week streaming schedule, or more commonly known as the stream shower. Here we go.
All right. I'm excited for the stream shower. Are you excited, Brian?
Oh, I'm so excited for the stream shower, but you all got to wait till we get there. Patience is key.
Yeah. Saving that for last. How's it going, Brian? Are you crushing some fantasy playoffs?
Yeah, I'm definitely crushing. There's some that are a lot closer for comfort than I'd wished by now. But at the same time, it's a little sad knowing that the fantasy season, we're reaching the end. And I don't like that. I don't love that. How are you? How are your matchups coming along this week?
Yeah, for sure. I do have a couple buys in a couple leagues, so that's nice. I can just sit back and watch, but in some good matchups that are tight in the quarterfinals. So we'll see if I can pull through. Yeah, unfortunately, we have some newsies. Evan is day to day with mid body injury.
Yeah, mid and upper, I guess you can call it.
I guess upper. He's day to day with an illness. But we got the Brian Ryan show today. But let's get into some other newsies. So unfortunately, Leon Draisaitl is out for the season. A lot of speculation on what it is. I've heard some people say they think it's like an MCL issue, but not requiring surgery. So should be back for the playoffs. I think he'll be back. Even if he has something going on with his knee, I think he has to play on the playoffs. What do you think?
Yeah, they're going to put him out there for the playoffs. Otherwise, somehow, some way, Edmonton and LA are going to end up in the first round. Somehow, we don't know how. And Edmonton needs to keep rolling and beating LA. So no, Draisaitl is going to be back. He will probably be back at 70%, but 70% is still better than most teams 100%.
Yeah. And with Draisaitl out, Matt Savoie, he was on the top line with McDavid and on the top power play last night. Mm-hmm. Got himself an assist. And yeah, that's just a great opportunity for him. I'm definitely taking a look at possibly picking him up where I can fit him in schedule-wise. And then Sidney Crosby is back tonight, and he scored himself a goal recently. So good for him. Right in time for the fantasy playoffs where, the fantasy finals for a lot of people, week 23, he'll have a 5-game week. So that's pretty fun. And then Seth Jones is also back, but he was put on the second power play unit in his first game back. And that's not too exciting. The first unit, let me just double check this. I don't want to give.
They got nothing. He won't be on power play 2 for long.
I know. Yeah. First unit was Aaron Ekblad, Sam Iskevich, Lindell, Matt Tkachuk, and Sam Bennett. And then you had Seth Jones on power play 2, running a 2D power play with Mike Benning. So that's interesting. And Mason McTavish is second game in a row tonight where he's a healthy scratch. Luckily, Troy Terry just had a maintenance day in practice, but he's back. But yeah, McTavish, if you haven't already, you can't be holding on to this guy anymore.
No.
And Cole Hudson makes his NHL debut tonight for the Washington Capitals. I believe he has 1 shot on goal through the first period, but that's about it. He's a really exciting prospect. I was just checking out his stats from Boston University, led his team in points. He had 10 goals, 22 assists for 32 points in 35 games. That was down from the season prior, but the team as a whole there was a lot worse this season. So I don't think he got any worse as a player, and he's just a really exciting, dynamic player. And Brian, do you know who his brother is?
I've heard of his brother, I have. But the fact that he has one shot through two periods, that's still better than what Zane Perek does for me on a daily basis. So, that's pretty exciting. And we know how hyped we are about Zane Perek.
Yeah. I will say, as through one period, I will say it's just 4 minutes of ice time in that first period, which
pretty
is
solid.
not great.
No, pretty solid.
I was gonna say
pretty solid that he has a shot in 4 minutes. Is what I meant to.
Yes,
let's clarify.
Great for 60 numbers, but a pace of 13 minutes of time on ice a night, probably not worth picking up. But keep an eye on him because he's talented. Brian, you want to take us away here?
Yeah, let's do it. So, of course, we got some more newsies here. We got Alex Tuck, who did miss Tuesday's game with an illness. And it seems like there's so many people that are missing games with illness after that Olympic break. So if you haven't already, keep your eyes peeled on the day-to-days because people are sick left, right, and center, it seems like.
But partying with Evan.
Yeah, they must be partying with Evan. He's getting everyone sick. And then on the other hand, we look at Carolina, which we know Bussy was on an unreal run to start the year, what that was doing. And now he's on a 3-game losing streak, and it's not looking good. But if you flip that coin, you have Anderson, who's now on a 3-game win streak. So, it's not all doom and gloom in Carolina, but it might be doom and gloom for your fantasy teams if you're relying on Bussy. So that's just a little bit that's going on in Carolina. Hopefully Bussy finds his form there. Because I don't know how confident Carolina will be running into the playoffs with Anderson, who hasn't been great all year. We'll see.
Yeah, I do like. They've been doing a 50-50 split the last, I guess, 8 games or 6 games during this time, and no matter who's on a streak, like I think they're continuing that 50-50 split to finish the season, just to like rest their goalies and see who they got, right?
Well, that's true because you know what Anderson has, which is a lot of injuries, so they probably want to continue that trend. So we'll see where it goes. Moving over to Minnesota, Joel Eriksson Jeek is day-to-day with a lower body injury, is likely to miss 2 games. I think you can afford a little injury with Eriksson. We know Minnesota doesn't have a great playoff schedule, but something to keep an eye on because he wasn't doing too great before the injury. So let's see what he can do when he comes back. Kempe, pretty late notice on the game the other day, day-to-day. So he's been out. Byfield, on the other hand, has been pushed to power play 1, and he's been performing pretty well over the last game when Kempe didn't play. So we'll see if he's able to continue that. And then the lowly, I don't want to say lowly because they're doing better than the Leafs, but the lowly Detroit Red Wings, who are still in a playoff spot, with Dylan Larkin out, they got a couple injuries. You got Comfer, who's line 1, power play 1, and he's doing all right. He's got 2 apples in his last game. But I will say Detroit as a whole, I was just telling Ryan this off air, is they look completely different without Dylan Larkin. They need Larkin back, but for the meantime, Comfer's looking all right.
Yeah. All right. We got some comments here. We got Arm Dog in here. What's up, Arm Dog? He's wondering who's the worst forward here for the busy nights next week. Oof, yeah. There's going to be some real benching decisions next week. He's got Barzal, Point, Gensel, Marchenko. Wow, this is an elite decision.
Yeah.
Point, Gensel, Marchenko, Matt Tkachuk, Panarin, Gauthier. And it's a Cats league, which includes shots, hits, and plus minus. Oof. Wow, that will definitely be a tough decision. I hope you only need to bench one of those guys. My particular I'm having a tough time with this. Brian, is anyone jumping out to you?
No, because my knee-jerk reaction would be like Matthew Barzal, but he's been so good recently, so I don't want to say Barzal. My next option would be Cutter Gauthier, but he still shoots a lot, and he's great at that. So yeah, I don't know. I'm having a hard time with this. There's so many studs here.
I think I might have to go like matchup based. Like if they're playing an elite team that lets in like 2.4 goals against a game, that's who I'm benching. Unless it's Point and Gensel, because Point and Gensel can just go off any given night playing on the same team as Kucherov. Yeah. So anyone else, it's gonna be matchup based for me. And Cutter Gauthier, that is who's jumping off right now, even though I would hate to bench him. He's playing on the 3rd even strength line tonight, I believe. He was practicing there. because they reunited Troy Terry and Leo Carlson and Chris Kreider, and they went off. So Gauthier is being shafted, and if he's being shafted next week on the third line at even strength, he might get you a ton of shots, but
Yeah,
I don't think he's going to go off in goals and assists.
I will say, Anaheim next week plays Vancouver, Calgary, and Edmonton. So I think I might want to play him. I'm just looking at the matchups, and I would probably side with you on that, Ryan. Just see who the weakest or who has the hardest matchup, and then bench them unless they're on Tampa. Because with Kucherov getting 5 points a game like he has been doing, it's a safe bet that they'll get some points. But anyone else, I would look at the matchups.
Yeah. All right. And Arm Dogs also has some pickup options. He has Shesty, who plays on all the off nights, so he can fit every goalie game in. And there's goalie cats wins, save percentage, and shutouts. So just 3 goalie cats. And yeah, you're really going to chase wins there and kind of pray for save percentage, I think, in that league. But he's got Connor Ingram, Elvis Merzlikins, Anthony Stolarz as goalie options to pick up. Or he could just go for some skaters and he has Kartai, Gavrikov, Schneider, Benson, Lindholm, Elias Lindholm, Frank Nazar, and Jimmy Snuggs. Oof.
Yeah.
Is St. Louis, they're playing 3 games next week?
Yeah, 3 games all on the busy nights.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like you can't really pick up a skater and play them, but you could pick up a goalie. So in my opinion, I'm going Ingram here because, like, even without Draisaitl, Edmonton has committed, or the coach made a comment saying Ingram's our starter, and he'll have the opportunity to get the most wins out of Merzlikins and Stolarz. That's for sure.
Yeah, I will not go goalie. I refuse. I think you can do is get a streamer here if it's someone from the Rangers, and Gavrikov has been pretty decent lately. He's got a goal tonight, and they play every off night next week. So I think I would actually go with Gavrikov there.
Wow. Yeah, he got a goal again. Jeez, this guy's on Ty Kartai. Wait. Oh, Gavrikov has a goal. Not
Gavrikov.
I'm like, Ty Kartai cannot keep shooting 50%. That's not going to happen. Yeah, I don't hate it. I don't hate getting Gavrikov, although I don't think Blocks was in there. And it's just like, you're really going to just go for a defenseman as the extra guy? I think I'd...
Always Blocks not in there?
Well, I think it's the same league. He said it's shots.
Oh, yeah, shots, hits, and plus minus.
Yeah.
I don't know. My stand. If you can't fit a good player in for all the games that you're going to stream them, then default to a goalie. But yeah, I think by default for me, I'd be going for a forward stream or a defenseman, especially because with Shesterkin, win, save percentage, shutouts, they have a pretty decent matchup next week. Ottawa, Leafs, Chicago, Florida. I like his chances in getting a good save percentage, good outing on that week.
Yeah. All right, Brian, I'm curious your thoughts on the standings.
Suspense.
The standings. I want to take a look at these standings because I was looking at them today, and I think it's really interesting, and it makes the last few weeks of hockey really exciting. Aside from our fantasy playoffs, like, it's really cool to see this battle on who makes the playoffs. So just in the East here, like, we have a cool battle for the top of the Atlantic where Buffalo is 4 points ahead of Tampa, but Tampa has 2 games in hand. I'm curious, do you have a prediction there of who wins the Atlantic?
You know what? I'm just good vibes here. I'm gonna go with Buffalo. I think that would be an incredible story. I'll go with the narrative, and I like what Buffalo's done this year.
Nice. I gotta say Tampa.
Can't argue. I mean, like, Kucherov had 5 points last game. Hagel with 4 points. Like, you can't. How do you keep up with that? But
yeah,
Buffalo and Tampa did just play, and Buffalo pulled through. So who knows? It'll be close.
And then the Metro, like, Carolina pretty much has it in the bag. But then you have Pittsburgh and the Islanders tied at 83 points at the moment for second and third, but Columbus is 2 points back of them. And then in the wild card, we have Boston and Detroit
Mhm.
with 82 points. Columbus is 1 point back of them. And the Senators, they are 5 points out of the wild card spot, but they have 2 games in hand. And I am looking at this right now, and I think the Senators and the Blue Jackets, who are out of the playoffs at the moment, as we speak, I do think they'll get in. And
Wow.
but it's like, oh, who's not getting in? But
Mhm.
I believe we were talking about Detroit, and without Larkin for the next 2 weeks, possibly, or maybe one more week, I don't know, man. I think Detroit might falter, and I think Boston might falter too, and
Mhm.
I think we might see Columbus and Ottawa squeeze in there. What do you think?
Well, that'll be interesting, but I think Columbus gets in if they decide to stop using Merzlikins. He's been better of late, but Jet Greaves is Jet Greaves, and he's been great. So that I actually like. I like Columbus, but Ottawa. The more I'm thinking about it, the biggest problem for Ottawa hasn't been scoring. They've been able to do that. It's been their goaltending, and it seems like Allmark has really turned a leaf. He's been playing better. But what worries me with Ottawa is Sanderson is out too. So how much of an impact does he have on that team? I would say a pretty big impact. So that to me would be interesting. However, without Larkin in Detroit, I think that's going to make a big difference here, and I do think they're going to drop. I wouldn't be surprised if Boston drops either, but I don't know if that's just because I'm a Leafs fan and I hate Boston. So
Yeah. I mean, Ottawa, like, yeah, they've had goalie struggles. Allmark seems to be playing better, and without Sanderson, you bring up a good point, but they're just like, they're
they're good.
allowing like 22 shots against a game. And it's
Yeah,
just like, okay, Allmark, just stop 20 of those. All right.
yeah, you got a good chance to win the games. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, yeah, in the West here, interesting battles, especially in the Pacific, where Anaheim is technically in first, and then Edmonton, Vegas in second and third. Um, how do you see the Pacific shaping out? Do you think
Pacific,
Anaheim can secure the bag in the division
oh,
win?
the Pacific is a mess. It's crazy because every other year I'd say absolutely not, but Edmonton and Vegas have been like horrible by their standards. But you know what? Now that I'm saying that, I'm gonna take that back. I think Anaheim can finish at the top of the division, just because Draisaitl out. Edmonton, we know McDavid can do, but I don't really trust anything going on there. And Vegas hasn't wowed me at all this year. So yeah, as long as Anaheim can keep scoring and they stop putting Granlund in big spots on the team, and it kind of mess with their flow, then yeah, they'll be good. They'll be laughing.
Yeah. And I mean, Anaheim, like, they were such an interesting team because it started out Joe Quenneville was playing his young studs like 20
Mhm.
minutes a night, and they were scoring like 8 goals a game.
Yep.
Not actually, but
Yeah, we know.
it's super exciting. And then he changed his style and kind of turned into a more of a balanced coach,
Mhm.
rolling 3 equal lines, spreading it out, and then even like splitting the power plays pretty equally. And
Mhm.
this last game with John Carlson making his debut, John Carlson was on the top power play unit.
Don't love that.
Um, but you know who else was? Jacob Trouba
Yeah.
as a 2D power play with the top line of Terry, Carlson, Kreider.
Yeah,
And
Trudeau
then
was down by the net. Like, get off the ice. You're not a power play guy. What are you doing?
yeah. And they had yeah, and then they take the unit off at like a minute 10,
Yeah.
and then they had power play 2 go out. So I don't love that for the Ducks. Again, I don't know. It's
Mhm.
we're fantasy managers. We just want top power play to get 2 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I will say I think Quenneville is still, seeing what he has, playing around with the new additions, see if there's other chemistry, which I'm fine with. But the only vet I think that I like on that top power play is Chris Kreider. I think he knows his role on that power play. It looks good, but we need Kutagochi out there. We need Lacombe out there, Troy Terry. Though that to me is the power play. That makes sense. It's clicked. Quenneville, listen to the pod, get the team together, get the boys together at a top power play.
Yeah. And then lastly here, just looking at the wild card teams in the West, we got Utah like pretty secure at the top there. they actually could get into they're in the Pacific, right? Utah?
Yeah, they're in the
New
Pacific.
team. It's a new team. It's
Yeah.
it's hard to remember, but yeah, maybe they surpass Edmonton or Vegas or even Anaheim. So a lot can go wrong there. But in terms of the last playoff spot, we got Seattle and Los Angeles tied with 71 points. San Jose has 70, Nashville has 69, and Winnipeg has 67. I honestly think it's either LA or San Jose getting in there. There's no way Seattle makes the playoffs here with four third lines. Like, it's just not happening.
And Jared McCann playing 16 minutes. It's not going to happen. Yeah. No, yeah. Utah, I feel like, is a lock in there. Yes. I think LA is going to get in. Just because I feel like it'd be a failed opportunity if they didn't, because of picking up Panarin. They got to start doing something. And yeah, Seattle looked good early in the season, but I feel like they've really dropped off of late. Yeah, Bobby McMahon has been nice in the short term, but that'll fade. Yeah, I think the last wild card spot is really up in the air, but I think it's going to be the Mammoth and LA. I think the Sharks are going to miss out.
Yeah, interesting. All righty. Well, it's time. It's time. We're going back to fantasy hockey court.
Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, and we still got Darlene here. We really got to talk about this guy at some point. Keep hanging in the lobby.
He's always hanging out in fantasy hockey court. He's like, you wronged me. You wronged me, guys.
Yeah.
All right. The way we're doing it today, instead of having one of us as a prosecutor, one of us as defense, and one of us as a judge, well, the judge decided to call in sick. So me and Brian, we're teaming up. We're doing some double prosecution there, and no defense. All right. So we're bringing two people to court here who next week, they don't have any off nights. Week 22, they're playing Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. And what we're prosecuting is that they need to be dropped. They're charged with being on your fantasy bench all week next week, and it's time to drop them. First up, we got Will Smith. Brian, go right ahead. Prosecute away.
All right, let's get the meat and potatoes out of the way here. We got Will Smith, pointless in his last 4 games. Shot and chance generation has declined, and he's in Warsofsky's doghouse. So if you're looking at what he's done over the last 4 games, we're looking at those. He has 2 shots in the last 2 games, averaging 1 shot a game, not great, and absolutely nothing else. And then when you back it up 4 games ago, he had that 3 shot, but still no points. So not doing anything at all for you. Not to mention, if you even look at the ice time has not been great. 16:49, 16:14, 18:12, and then 13 minutes he had the other day against Edmonton. So that's not looking so great for him. Not to mention, if we take a look at Will Smith and we pop the hood open, we take a look at those underlying metrics, there is a whole lot of colds behind every single metric. There is not one that's clicking. IPP is down, shooting percentage non-existent. Shots per 60 way down, individual scoring chance, everything is way down. So when you're taking a look at a player like this going into next week, knowing that pretty much everyone plays the Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, why would you bother holding on to it? You may as well pick up someone, a streamer that you can get in, maybe like the LA Kings. You get them on for 4 days because some points is better than no points on your bench. So that's the case here. That's why I'm dropping Will Smith.
All right, and I'm teaming up with this prosecutor here, and we're going harder here. All right, we say he's in Warsofsky's doghouse. Warsofsky had a comment yesterday, post game after their loss, where Will Smith started on a line with Celebrini and Graf, but he finished. He had a couple shifts on the 4th line with Ostapchuk and Goudreau. And for the whole last, 5 minutes of the game, and they were pulling their goalie, Will Smith was sitting on the bench. And we don't like that for our fantasy team. Warsofsky had a comment saying, for 4 years, we've worked on development and getting guys better, kind of handing some things to some players. And now you got to earn your ice from here on out. So I think that's a big message where He's not afraid to bench some guys who are not performing to what he wants anymore. It's no longer the young team just for development. They're in a playoff race, and I think Will Smith's going to be on your fantasy bench next week. So it's time to get rid of him. The only metric that Will Smith is still doing well in is on ice scoring chances for, but that's purely because he's playing with Macklin
Yeah.
Celebrini. And if Warsofsky takes that away, he's got absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Your Honor, do we have a ruling anywhere? Anyone?
No, the judge didn't even show up because he knew this was a slam dunk. There's no defendant, so like.
All right, Will Smith, you're going to jail. All right. One question here from Mr. Hunter BG. Goalie question for you, Brian. Mr. Hunter knows you love goalies and love goalie questions. After the Lightning dismantled Grubauer, would you keep him or go with Dobish, or Wool? What do you think, Brian?
I mean, slightly depends on points or cats league for me, but I'd probably go with Dobish. Actually, no, I would stick with Grubauer. As long as I haven't looked at what he's the starts recently, but the goalie situation in Seattle is pretty okay. But I'd probably rank it Grubauer, Dobish, and then Wool.
Yeah, I'd be similar, but I probably would go Dobish over Grubauer just because I think Dackord will get just over 50% of the starts.
Yeah.
Where Dobish, I think, is split in starts equally with Jacob Fowler the rest of the way.
Okay, and it is a cats league, so does that change my opinion? No, I would still go Grubauer, Dobish, Wool. I've seen Dobish get lit up a couple of times, and Seattle's gonna let in a couple more shots. So yeah, as long as you can maximize, have good save percentage, goals against average on the few games that you get Grubauer, and you have another decent goalie, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, or like who else you got free on the waiver wire? Is Connor Ingram there? I'd honestly go with Connor Ingram. Is Eric Comrie there? Comrie could get a start a week, and in a Cats league, that could be valuable for a goalie spot as long as he's not your only goalie.
I would not touch Connor Ingram in a Cats league. No chance. that will sewer your categories. You'll get the win, man. You'll get the win.
He showed up. He showed up last night. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And who else? Maybe Casey DeSmith. He'll get a start a week. Take a look at those guys and just stream them in. No need to hold on to bad goalies.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. We got another person to prosecute in court here. We got another young guy who's in some doghouses in his coach's mind, it seems. Logan Cooley. So since returning from injury, 11 games played, he's averaging 15:39 of average time on ice. Not great. We need the 19-plus minute Logan Cooley to be on our fantasy teams. He has gotten 7 points in the 11 games played, but that's nothing to write home about. I think 3 goals, 4 assists, only 1 on the power play, and he's averaging 1.72 shots per game. He finds himself on an interesting line of him, Dylan Genther, and JJ Peterka on line 2. But he is shafted to power play 2 as well. And then that line, as talented as it seems with Genther and Peterka, they're really not doing as well as you'd think. They're pretty even in Corsi for percentage, scoring chance percentage, and they're not really dominating as you might think they would be. So Logan Cooley, Utah plays another Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday next week as well, and he's just going to be sitting on your bench. He's center only. It's time to get rid of him. Brian, you got stuff to add here?
Yeah, it's just a crazy time of the year. You're in fantasy playoffs, and the thing with Logan Cooley for me that really is jumping off the screen here is power play 2. If you were to watch a Utah game, he's always very noticeable. And it's like, wow, he must get so many points. And if it's not translating points, you're not going to be starting him. Being on power play 2 is going to kill his, his potential, I should say, because you want to be on that top power play with Keller, with Gunther, and he should be. So yeah, in a standard, redraft league next week, we've talked about how busy that Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday is. if he's not going to be starting, again, you got to drop him. And even if you were to take a look under the hood, same thing as we talked about Will Smith, the underlines don't look good. So I think like he does have another gear in him. Sure, I think he can be this great player, but he needs the power play one. He needs, I don't want to say better line mates, but better chemistry with his line mates, because there should be more for him. And if the underlines aren't good over the last 5 games, the power play isn't there. Like, why would you hold on to him when you could pick up someone else? And you already have a full lineup on those days, anyways. So yeah, it's going to be a drop for me.
All right. And no defense allowed for Logan Cooley. The judge already sentenced him to the rest of the fantasy season in jail. So sorry, Logan Cooley, you're heading straight to jail. Straight to jail.
Straight to jail. No power play one, straight to jail.
Yes. Go join Rasmus Dahlin.
Yeah.
There he is.
And speaking of Rasmus Dahlin, just showing up to let us know that he wants us to talk about him next time. Come back next week.
Yeah, you might just see his head in there, but who knows? I don't know if we're going to talk about Erasmus. All right, next up on the docket, we have a sit-start death match, and it's really just some sit-start decisions here. But when I hear the word death match that coming out of Nate and Blake's episodes, like I want to include it in our episodes, right?
Yeah, no, the logic is sound. I like it. Let's get into death
All
match.
right. Sit start death match. We got the sit start decision number 1 for Thursday night. All right. Brian, you're holding 3 goalies. All right. For some reason, you're holding on to 3 goalies.
Okay.
All right. First, we're going to do a Cats League with wins, save percentage, goals against average, and shutouts. All right. Standard
Okay.
Cats League. Here's the sit start decision. We got Connor Hellebuck against Boston. You wasted a 3rd round pick on him. How dare you? And then we got our boy Jet Greaves, Vezina candidate against the New York Rangers. And then we got Alex Lyon, who is probably going to get the start tomorrow against the San Jose Sharks. All right, you're starting 2 of them. You're benching 1. What's your decision?
Okay, first of all, nothing beats a Jet Greaves holiday. So I'm starting Jet Greaves. I think he got a vote of confidence from his coach. He played great against Carolina. I love that. I'm going to keep rolling with that. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, because you might have seen this too. I think he set a record or tied a Columbus record for most consecutive games with a point, like either a win or a overtime loss. I think he tied Bobrovsky. I'm pretty sure that was what I just read, which if that's the case, I'm rolling with Jet Greaves. So that's 1. And then 2, I'm going with Alex Lyon, just because Buffalo is a wagon this year and he's probably more likely to get a win. Yes, I know Winnipeg has been better. And yes, I know I wasted a 3rd round pick on Hellebuck, but not a playoff team. Boston's hunting for that playoffs. So I think they'll be motivated to get the win. Whereas Alex Lyon, Buffalo, I think they've just been playing better. So I would trust him in net. So Greaves and Alex Lyon.
Yeah. I wish we could have watched this episode at the start of the season. And this is like, all right, you want 0G. Here's a sit start decision in the fantasy playoffs. All right. Jet Greaves, Alex Lyon, Connor Hellebuck. And we're benching Connor Hellebuck, right?
That'd be wild. Wild times.
So I love everything you're saying. I love a Jet Greaves holiday. He's definitely the start here against the Rangers. And yeah, like how can I can't disagree with you. I can't start Connor Hellebuck here.
Right.
I got to go Alex Lyon, who's 5-0 in his last 5 starts, and he's only allowed 3 goals in one of them. He's allowed 2 goals against in every other one. And yeah, that's just, he's on fire. Buffalo's on fire. And against the San Jose team, San Jose could definitely score some goals. So
yeah,
I'd be afraid of Macklin Celebrini. But with Will Smith sitting on the 4th line, we'll see. We'll see. I think Alex Lyon has a great game. So I agree with you here. All right. No, we're both passing the death match. Good job.
Crazy. That's crazy. And it's funny because at the start of the season, we all said, yeah, the only goalie that's a lock to be drafted early is Connor Hellebuck, right? I think that's hilarious. That goes to show you why I don't trust goalies.
Yep. All right. We got a sit start death match number 2 here. We got a Thursday night decision. In our utility spot, we can either play Gage Gonzalez, who we picked up and is on fire, or newly line 1 power play 1 Matt Savoy. And the matchups here on Thursday. Sorry, Gage Gonzalez, Tampa Bay is playing Vancouver, and Edmonton is playing Florida at home. Brian, who are you picking here?
This might be one of those revenge games for McDavid against the Panthers. Savoy on that line, top power play, he could get something. But have you seen what Goncalves has done recently? He can't stop scoring. I'm probably going to roll with Goncalves, just gone. Wow, can't even say his name. I'm going to run with him.
Gage
Goncalves. Yeah, I'm going to run with him because they play Vancouver. And Tampa's going to put up 6 goals.
All right. I'm actually going to go the opposite direction here.
All right.
Gonçalves, he's been on fire in 4 games back. He has 6 points. He's got 4 goals and 2 assists there, which is awesome. Plenty of hits to add as well. In that top 6, he was playing with Braden Point and Jake Gensel last evening, so he wasn't necessarily playing with Kucherov. That could change. Kucherov was with Cirelli and Hagel, but they might mix up the top 6 there, and Gonçalves can get some good exposure. Either way, he's in a great spot. He only played less than 13 minutes last game, and he gets nothing on the power play. I don't think Kucherov's going to get 5 points a game every game.
Every other game, maybe?
Yeah. Even against Vancouver. So I just like Savoy's opportunity here playing with Connor McDavid directly. He is on the line with Connor McDavid, and he's on the top power play with Connor McDavid. So I just think it's more likely Savoy goes off than Gonçalves on Thursday night. And
I will just point out that you mentioned that Gage only had less than 13 minutes and he still had 2 points. So that's not bad. But I think that is the safer bet, that just by exposure to McDavid, Savoy's probably going to get some points, and they probably want to see, they probably have more invested in him performing than Tampa does in Gage. So I wouldn't hate that at all. So sure.
Yeah. All right. We do have one more head-to-head, not head-to-head death match. That's what Nibbelink do. We're doing a sit-start death match between. So in this scenario, this Thursday, Friday, there's back-to-back 2-gamer, and available to us, we can grab Anton Lundell or we can grab Teuvo Teravainen. Only Florida and Chicago and Utah play in this 2-game back-to-back. But we're saying that Utah doesn't really have anyone other than Michael Kirkoni and Jack McBain available. So Brian, those are on the table as well if you'd rather those 2. But we're deciding between Teuvo Teravainen, Frank Nazar was already snagged up, or Anton Lundell for 2 games Thursday, Friday. Who are you going with?
Carconi. No, I think I'm actually going to be going with Lundell here. Just because, a couple reasons. One, if he doesn't get a goal or doesn't get an assist, he's at least more likely to do a little bit more peripherally for you. Whereas Teuvo, it's either kind of boom or bust, I find. The other thing is Lundell is now power play 1 for the time being. Seth Jones probably going to come back to that power play. So I do like that power play. And not to mention Teuvo and the Blackhawks just played Minnesota, and he did absolutely nothing. So I'd imagine it'd be more or less the same the next game. So I'm rolling with Lundell.
All right. This isn't a great stream, but if we're going to get the extra game, I think we should do it. That being said, Anton Lundell is on a second line with Sam Miskevich and Jesper Bokvist, which in my mind, that's a third line checking line that's strong defensively, in my opinion. They're going to get a lot of defensive zone starts. He is on the top power play. But Florida hasn't been amazing on the power play lately. So I'm going Teuvo. I think Teuvo on Chicago's top power play has more of an opportunity for the power play to succeed. than Florida's top power play.
Okay.
And like it is going to be a boomer bust. I think both these players are boomer bust. If
Yeah.
Lindell doesn't boom, what he's going to get you 2 hits
Yeah.
and 2 blocks
That's right.
and two shots. And
Yep.
I think I'm going for it with Tuvo to get 2 power play points over these 2 games.
Okay. That'd be pretty cool. But also, I will push back a little bit because you said that Florida's power play has been great of late. That's because they haven't had their quarterback. Seth Jones is back, and I bet you no money because I'm not a gambling man, but I bet you Seth Jones is going to be back on power play 1 next game.
All right. Or they go split power play and give Seth Jones.
I hope not. I'll have some words for Maurice Paul.
Yeah, they are embracing the tank, so who knows?
Yeah.
All right, you know what it's time for.
Stream shower. We got to have a song for this. The stream shower. I don't know what the tune is yet. We're working on it.
Blake, if you're listening, we could use some stream shower songs and some other songs that we can sing to in the stream shower.
Yes.
But yeah, welcome on in. Again, this is Thursday to Sunday, all right? So we are looking for the streams. Nate and Blake cross the streams at the start of the week. We're coming in at the end just for a sprinkle of the stream shower. That's what we do. So just looking over at these teams with 3 games from Thursday to Sunday, there are 8 of them. And it is a pretty easy week to stream where you might not be filled up on Thursday or Saturday or Sunday. Sunday has 9 games, Saturday has 11, Thursday has 11. So that's not really such heavy nights. So it might not matter to you when they play, but if you are looking at avoiding the Saturday, Utah and Chicago are the teams that play Thursday, Friday, Sunday, rather than Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. So we will start with them. Taking a look at Utah to pick up a streamer here. We're saying Cooley is owned. All right, that's what we're saying. Even though we're telling everyone to drop him, he's owned
for this
here,
week.
but
he's owned for this week.
Yeah, but we're looking at Peterka, Lawson Krause. We have that Carconi McBain duo possible there. And then we have the Enigma Barrett Hayton, who keeps finding himself in great situations and not performing. So I guess out of those guys, Brian, are you wanting to stream any of them?
Yeah, I would stream Lawson Krause as long as he's on line 1 with Schmaltz and Keller. He has had some success there. I think his value goes up a little bit more if it is a Cats league just because of those bangs. But yeah, I'd have my eyes on Lawson Krause for me, but no one else.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there. Again, I want to like Peterka, but that Peterka Cooley Genther line hasn't performed at even strength. And again, they're on the second power play, Logan Cooley and Peterka there, where Lawson Krause, he has performed at even strength with Schmaltz and Keller. And I love that 3-game stream for you. And he's going to provide the hits as well. So in Cats leagues, that's a bonus. In points leagues, you're really hoping he gets in on the points, which I think he can on these 3 games. I agree there. We're not touching anyone else. All right, and then if you want to avoid the Saturday, your other option is Chicago here, where we could probably stream anyone under Bedard. So Bertuzzi, Nazar, Tuvo Teravainen, Sam Brinzel, Artem Levshinov. Maybe we go for Donato Burakovsky, Ryan Green. In my eyes, like I'm really targeting Nazar here. He's really popped off of late. In his last 7 games, it looks like he has 9 points, which is awesome. And he's not playing with Connor Bedard at even strength, but that second line is actually doing better in terms of chance generation at even strength. And Frank Nazar is getting some good power play time as well. So, yeah, I'm really liking Nazar here. And that's probably about it for me. Again, the boomer bust option is Tuvo Teravainen.
Yeah.
But, yeah, how about you? What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's pretty interesting. I know Nate and Blake just talked about Frank Nazar and how He was red hot beginning of the year, went cold, and he has the potential to get red hot again. I think Chicago has a lot of stock in him, so if he's available, he would be my first option. But if I were to rank it, I would probably go Nazar 1, probably Bertuzzi 2, whoever's on the top power play. So TiVo and then Lev Shunov. Again, depending on what positions you have available. Let's say on the Sunday you don't have any forward spots; it's only a defenseman. I'll reluctantly go Lev Shunov, but Nazar 1, Bertuzzi 2, TiVo 3.
Yeah. All right. I agree there. Yeah, Lev Shanov is on that top power play, so Sam Renzel is irrelevant now. All right, moving along. Another team that I do want to actually highlight more than the other teams with 3 games left from Thursday to Sunday is the Buffalo Sabres, because from this stream, it's a stream and hold. All right, this is not just a stream shower. We're taking a bath with the Buffalo Sabres here, because next week Buffalo plays 2 off nights on that terrible week. I believe the Wednesday and Friday they play. So that's basically just like 2 free games that you can get in with a Buffalo Sabre. So this is a special team here. No more teams Thursday to Sunday take Saturday off. So all these guys are playing Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. But let's take a look at the Buffalo Sabres, where like I would say there's still plenty of options on in a lot of leagues. So I'm liking a lot of these. We have Josh Doan, we have Josh Norris, we have the 2 Joshes there. Just off the top there, which Josh would you rather stream?
Ooh, I'd go Doan. I like Josh Doan, and Josh Norris might get hurt tomorrow.
Yeah, I agree. Norris has picked up his shots, but he played 13 and a half minutes last game.
Wow.
So did Josh Doan.
Well,
they're spreading things out, but I do like Doan better there. But I would be very happy to stream Norris here too, and hope that he's healthy next week. But looking down, we got Jason Zucker and Jack Quinn. And Zucker, I believe, is still on the top power play. He hasn't done much in the last few games, but he has shown some bursts. Jason Zucker, Jack Quinn, who you like in there, Brian?
Zucker all day. Zucker's having a good year. Fits like a glove on that top power play. I'm gonna bank that he's gonna pick it up at some point this weekend and carry on to next week.
Yeah, we're taking some baths here in Buffalo. Yeah, it looks like they're really spreading out the lines evenly, where Zucker and Quinn are on like a second line with Ryan McLeod. Norris and Doan are on a third line with Peyton Krebs, and Tage is playing with Zach Benson and Noah Ostland. Are either of those guys tickling your fancy there, Ostland or Zach Benson?
Neither of them. Neither of them for me. And also because there is so many other options. Like I would pick McLeod over Ostland, or who was the other one you said? See, I already forgot. I'm not even thinking about him.
Zach Benson.
Yeah, Zach Benson. No.
Yeah, it's an interesting team to soak on, because there are plenty of options, and you gotta pick the right one. But I think the right ones, I think we agree in these rankings, like Josh Doan, then I think Jason Zucker, then Josh Norris, and then I might be ignoring the rest.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I would agree. Probably. I would probably throw McLeod at the end there, just because he has the ability to get some points. But also, if you were to look at defense, I don't know, like there's so many streamers on Buffalo that you could look at. I know Byram hasn't been as good. He went through a pretty hot streak, but if you need a defenseman for next week and these other guys are taken, he'd be a good look. Same with Samuelson. If he's playing with Darlene, like good periffs there, and points have dropped off a little bit. All to say, Buffalo is a great team to stream.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, all right, let's move along. There's we got 7 more teams Yeah, there were 10 teams originally. We got 7 more teams with 3 games. We might do some rapid fire here, but before we do, I do want to address a question from Mr. Hunter BG. If Gabe Perreault is available, who plays Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday next week, boom, 4 free games. Should I drop PLD or Mason Marchment to snag him? I would lean dropping PLD and keeping Marchment. You agree there?
Yeah, definitely. PLD refuses to shoot the puck, and Washington plays 3 games versus Columbus, who plays 4. So, yeah.
Yeah, awesome. All right, let's move along with some other showered streams here. We're not taking baths with these guys. We're just in for the stream shower Thursday to Sunday. All right, we got Winnipeg here, where everyone seems to be owned other than Cole Perfetti and maybe Alex Iafallo if he practices with Connor and Scheifele again, which they seem to just like be doing that every few games, and it seems to be that's the latest practice. Iafallo was practicing with Scheifele and Connor. So Perfetti or Alex Iafallo, are you interested?
No. Looking at, if you look at a coin, right, you have the Buffalo Sabres on one side, you got the Winnipeg Jets the other side. One side, you have all the streamers. The other one, you have none of the streamers. I'm not looking at Winnipeg at all. There's other options for me.
Yeah. I do agree, although Cole Perfetti has shot the puck a lot more in the last month, and he's getting a lot more scoring chances as well, and he is on the top power play there. So Cole Perfetti is an option for me.
Okay.
All right, let's go to Nashville. All right. Nashville, we're going to take a look at Jonathan Marchessault, Luke Evangelista, who has 80 assists this year. No, he's got
a lot.
30. He's got 39 assists. Potentially Matthew Wood, who's been on absolute fire. Yeah, that's who I'm looking at. What do you think?
I'm going Evangelista, yes, as my 1, and then Marchessault as my 2. But I think he's a distant 2. I'd go Evangelista. If he's not there, I'd probably look elsewhere.
Yeah. I think the shine has worn off of Evangelista. He is on a line with O'Reilly and Stamkos at the moment, and they got Philip Forsberg playing with Marchessault and Matthew Wood at even strength, and I've really liked what I've seen from Matthew Wood lately. They haven't given him any power play opportunity, but I might go Matthew Wood 1 and then Marchessault and then Evangelista.
Yeah. All right.
All right, LA, Los Angeles Kings here. Adrian Kempe, I do think he will return next game. He was close to playing last game, so I wouldn't count on too much too much opportunity here with Kempe out. But Laferriere had some power play time with Kempe out. And then let's say Anze Kopitar is available, Drew Doughty, and Kevin Fiala, he's still available.
No. Yeah, I'm still holding on to Fiala. I know he's not playing this season. I just refuse to drop him, and I have the space in the IR. I was like, you can sit there so I can look at you every day and wonder what could have been.
Yeah, but with LA here, Anze Kopitar has been playing absolutely great the last month or 2 weeks, and getting good minutes, playing with Panarin and Kempe, and I'm loving that. Kopitar is a great stream if he's available. I think he might be, based on everyone we talked about, he might be my favorite stream so far for these Thursday to Sunday games.
Wow. Yeah. Can't really knock that too much. Look at his line mates and they're clicking. So I think the last time I looked at Kopitar is every single game, assist, goal, assist. And I'm like, who is this? So yeah, I'd run with that while he's still performing really well. He's got great line mates, and the chemistry is there clearly.
Yeah, it's the chemistry with Panarin, really. Yeah. And then Alex Laferriere and Drew Doughty, maybe Scott Lawton, Trevor Moore. You liking any of these?
Cats League, I wouldn't mind Laferriere. I liked what he's done. Like, peripheral speaking, he shoots, he hits, gets a couple of blocks here or there. But yeah, he's not allergic to scoring. He can get you some points, but in a points league, still obviously, like, I don't want to knock Kopitar. Kopitar is still my one, but I could look into Laferriere as well. But I'm not touching Doughty. Don't trust it.
Yeah, I agree there. I think Laferriere would be a better stream than a lot of people we talked about if he's available there. Although I wouldn't count on power play one.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, no. Byfield would get the knock probably. Laferriere was on that top power play when Kempe was there. So
yeah.
So yeah, I think Laferriere and Kopitar might be equally valuable here if they're available. All right. Moving on to the New York Islanders, who have 3 games as well. We're looking at Emil Heineman and Anders Lee, Braden Shen, who's been clicking on the top power play, Tony DeAngelo, and possibly Cal Ritchie, who's getting some top power play time as well.
Yeah.
Are you excited about any of these guys?
Excited is not the word I would use, but I do like how Braden Shen showed up on Long Island and immediately is getting great deployment. So I would look at Braden Shen first. He got a power play goal last game, which is really nice. Tony DeAngelo, no, I probably wouldn't. Like, all these guys are okay streams, but I think Braden Shen's going to be my number one option.
All right. I actually think Emil Heineman is my number one again. I mean, not again, but he has gotten back into fantasy relevance again. He's got 3 goals in his last, three goals in his last 3. He's a hit machine and he's a shot machine. And in his last game, he was on an even strength line with Bo Horvat and Matt Barzal. And that's just perfect opportunity for him. He's not getting power play time, but I would think I would rather Emil Heineman here over Braden Shen, over Cal Ritchie, over Anders Lee.
I will say, as long as Barzal is playing on the right wing and not a center, so if he's on the right wing with Bo Horvat, whoever else is on that line, I would prioritize that one. If Barzal is playing center, not as much of a fan. But if he's on the right wing, I don't know. It's crazy the difference in the offense. I'm telling you, put Barzal on the right wing, you'll love whoever else is on that line.
That is how they were playing last game, but that's interesting deep dive there. Yeah. All right, we got the Tampa Bay Lightning. All right, hello. We're looking at 5 points from Kucherov a game, and the only available streamers are Cirelli, who was playing with Kucherov last game at even strength. Otherwise, we got our boy Gage Gonsalves and maybe Corey Perry, who's on the top power play. So, Brian, who you liking best here?
I actually like Cirelli. Cirelli is probably the only one I'm looking at, even though Gage has been red hot of late. I like what Cirelli is doing, especially if he plays on a line with Kucherov. I know they shuffle those top 2 lines a lot, but yeah, I like Cirelli for me.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Like, as long as, I mean, again, things can change, but he had 3 points last game, just clicking with Hagel and Kucherov at even strike. No power play time, but that's okay. And then between Gonsalves and Perry, like, Perry, I believe, was still on the top power play, but it's like such a boomer bust play that I'm going Gonsalves over Corey Perry.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
All right. And then we got the Columbus Blue Jackets, and unfortunately we can't stream Jet Greaves anymore. So we could take a look at the Coiler if he's still available. Charlie Coyle, Mason Marchment, Sean Monahan, Daddy Boone Jenner. A lot of options here. Matthew Olivier and Connor Garland, who he went absolutely crazy to start his Columbus career.
Yep.
So, just to take a look at some lines here. If there we go. We got Marchment still with Fantilli and Marchenko. And then Connor Garland found some nice chemistry with Sean Monahan. So who you liking best here, Brian?
This might be crazy, but I actually love Charlie Coyle. He had another 4-point night. Like, he's been great this year. I think the smart choice would be Marchment, but I would actually go Coyle and then Marchment for myself, and then look at Connor Garland, and then distantly, reluctantly look at Sean Monahan. That's how I would go about it.
All right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, how can you ignore Charlie Coyle? And 2 of those 4 points came on the top power play. So I don't think he's moving from that spot, and he might be a dream stream for these 3 games. And I would agree. I'm taking Coyle, then Marchment, and then I'm going Garland, then Monahan. Even though I think their success is linked, Connor Garland is the shooter there and more likely to score the goals. He had 4 goals in his first 2 games, and it's done nothing since. So I don't know if I'm like itching to stream Garland or Monahan. I think it's really Marchment or Coyle here.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a look at Vegas. Yeah, we're taking a look at Barbashev possibly, or Braden Bowman. And I think Bowman season, I was trying to make Bowman happen, but I don't think Braden Bowman is happening again. So I don't think I'm streaming Braden Bowman. It looks like Vegas is stacking the top 2 lines again, instead of shafting some guys down on the 3rd line or trying to spread things out. So yeah, I think like Barbashev he's expect what he does. He's gonna get a 45 to 50 point pace. So that's like like over 3 games, he might get you 2 points, maybe, if you're lucky, and they're both going to be at even strength.
Yeah.
So that's what Barbashev's going to do, and that would be the only streamer for me. What about you?
Yeah, there isn't many streamers in Vegas, and I guess Barbashev is the only option. So given all the streamers we've already mentioned so far, like, I'll probably just pass on Barbashev, because, well, you know exactly what he's going to get, and there might be other guys like you can give you more points if that's what you're chasing. Especially because Barbashev's you're not going to get any power play points either. I mean, if you're in a Bangers Cats and you need some hits, like Lozone might be available, but he hasn't been hitting as much lately as he was earlier. So I don't know. Those are the options. Yeah. They're pretty far and few.
Yeah, it's a good point. Like it is a good hit stream team. Although Lozone, he had 15 minutes last game, 13:39 the game before. So he's probably hitting at the same per 60 rate, but just not getting the ice time. So definitely keep an eye on if he's like, he could be scratched if that trend of ice time continues. And then Keegan Colasar would be another hits option, he's not going to clear 11 minutes, and he might get you 3 or 4 hits a game. So if you need hits, I think either of those are fine options. But yeah, Brian, out of everyone we talked about here, do you have a top 3 dream streams from any of these 10 teams with 3 games?
Yeah, now I gotta go over in my head what all the streams were.
All right, I'll go first here.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with, because Buffalo's schedule next week, I have to get a Saber, and I have to take the bath with the Saber here. So I'm happy to go Josh Doan as one of my top 3 dream streams in no particular order. I just want a Saber because I'll hold on to him next week and get 2 free games out of them on those off nights. And then you talked me into Charlie Coyle, all right? 4-point night, top power play. If the power play is clicking, he's clicking. And in the 3 games here, like maybe he goes 0-0-4 and 4 points in 3 games. Yeah. And then I actually like Cirelli as another top 3. Just playing alongside Kucherov at the moment. He got 3 points last game. I gotta go with the hot guys.
Yeah.
Brian, I'm sorry if I stole any of your top 3. It could be the same if you need.
Yeah.
Who are your top?
I'm surprised you didn't say Kopitar after saying how he might be your favorite stream so far. So That surprised me. I'm not gonna lie.
That's before we went into Tampa and Columbus.
That's true. That's true. So I'll start with Kopitar. I just like what he's been doing recently. Play the hot hand. So I'll go Kopitar. I do need some of the Buffalo for sure, but I'll go with Norris. You can really take your pick from Buffalo. And then I will end with Charlie Coyle. I've been a huge fan of Charlie Coyle this year, what he's been doing. And the fact that he's on that top power play as well is really, really nice. And then just know he has those 4-point nights in his bag. Like he's had, I think might have had more than 2 this year. So I'm okay with that. I'm happy with those streams.
Yeah, awesome. All right. And I do want to highlight that over the remaining week here, it's time to win your quarterfinals, and you might need to make some hard decisions. So with one game remaining, Thursday to Sunday, we have the New Jersey Devils and the St. Louis Blues. And taking a look at next week as well, both these teams play Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. New Jersey does also play the Sunday, but I implore you, take a look at your rosters next week. And if you are benching a New Jersey Devil next week on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, it's time to get rid of them. Like, do not hold on to them, even if it's Nico Hischier, even if it's Timo Meier, maybe even if it's Jesper Bratt. Like, if you're gonna bench him again, you probably shouldn't bench Jesper Bratt. He's Jesper Bratt is back. All right.
Yeah, I can go back.
If you're gonna bench him, you got to drop him. And so take a look at next week and St. Louis as well. Next week, if you're going to bench Rob Thomas every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, you got to drop him. You got to try to get more games played. Dylan Holloway, Jordan Kyrou, Snuggerud. If you're going to bench them, drop them. So they only have one more game this week, and it's time to look ahead, take advantage of that knowledge of next week, as well as just seeing that they're playing one game this week, and go with one of our dream streams. All right.
Yeah.
Maybe take a bath with some Sabres.
Yeah. Also, side note, should we have you have Blake with the cross the stream story. Should we have a stream shower story? Like, I'm wondering, maybe we should throw that up to the higher ups and see what they say. Cause
we might need a guest appearance from Blake to give us a stream shower story.
Jumps on for the story heads out.
Yeah. Mr. Hunter, another comment. He sure has 6 points in his past 3 games. Yeah. They're like, a lot of these Devils that disappointed all season are going off now. And that's a good point. But go look at your Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday schedule. And if you're going to bench Hischier, drop him, honestly. Yeah. But you might not bench him. You might be making a decision between Hischier and I don't know, Nick Schmaltz. And yeah, Hischier would be the play there, or Hischier and Adam Fantilli. Hischier might be the play there. So take a look at next week. And I'm not saying Hischier is needed to be dropped. I'm just saying if you're going to bench him, drop him.
Yeah.
Brian, Seth Jones or Rasmus Sandin?
Seth Jones. I'm going Seth Jones.
Yeah. WMW is feeling down about Seth Jones off the top power play, but Brian has let you know that he will be on the top power play next game.
He will.
You heard it here.
Yeah. You can't keep rolling Ekblad out there and not getting any power play points. Like, you can't.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, I'm nice and clean from that shower in the Buffalo bath. If you're feeling similar, please get in the Discord community and do like, rate, review these videos and podcasts, wherever you listen. Just do us some favors and get some likes on there, and then subscribe and post some comments. We'll get back to you. Yeah, Brian, you want to take us home?
Yes, sir. All right, everyone, that's all we've got for this episode. Hopefully it brought you some value and helped you get just a little bit better at fantasy hockey today. Many thanks to Matt Creamer for supplying the music for the podcast. Thanks for listening. We appreciate your time, and we'll catch you next week.